Welcome to the session on introducing Java Server Page, or JSP. In this session, you will learn to identify the limitations of the Java servlets, create a JSP page, and read request parameters in a JSP page. In the previous session, you learned that the Java servlet is the earliest technology of Java to be used in web application development. However, using only servlets to develop a web application may lead to some limitations. In the Java servlets, HTML is embedded in the Java program code. As all the HTML code is written using the out.println method of the Java language, it makes the maintenance of web pages unmanageable. Once all the web pages are finalized, even a small change in the design may require retyping of the entire HTML code. This process is time-consuming and error-prone. In addition, the web designer cannot use what you see is what you get, or WYSIWYG, graphical user interface or GUI-based design tools, to design the web pages. JSP is the solution to the preceding problem. While a servlet is a Java source file containing embedded HTML, a JSP might be considered to be an HTML file with the Java code embedded in it. A JSP page uses scriptlets to embed the Java code. As JSP consists of more of HTML code, it can be created using various GUI design tools. Thus, the task of designing and maintaining the web pages becomes easy. The displayed code is an example to create a simple JSP page. In this code, the maximum code is of HTML, which can be edited in a WYSIWYG editor, and angular brackets with modulus symbols are used to represent scriptlets. Here, this statement is a comment line. It is a page directive that provides several page-wide configuration information, and this statement is an expression statement, which is computed by using Java, and the result is converted to a string. This string is then embedded into the h1 tag of the HTML code, and sent to the browser as an output. A JSP page is essentially a source code, and must be converted into a servlet before it can service a request. The displayed figure will show the processing of a JSP page step by step. To process the JSP page, the web container translates the JSP file into a Java source file that contains a servlet class definition. The web container compiles the servlet source code into a Java class file. The servlet class bytecode is loaded into the web container's JVM software by using a class loader. The web container creates an instance of the servlet class. The web container initializes the servlet by calling the JSP init method. The initialized servlet can now service requests. With each request, the web container can call the JSP service method for the converted JSP page. When the web container removes the JSP servlet instance from service, it first calls the JSP destroy method to allow the JSP page to perform any required cleanup. It is important to note that a JSP page can refer to the request and response variables directly, as they are the part of the standard JSP. The displayed figure will show how to read an input parameter from the browser. When a user submits a form from the browser, it generates a post request. This request commonly includes parameters that contains data provided by the user. These parameters are available to a servlet in the web server through the getParameter method of the request variable. As you have already learned, that a JSP also has access to the request variable. Therefore, a JSP can also access the same data. The HTTP standard makes it easy to create a GET request that includes a parameter even without using a form. To create GET request with parameters, only key value pairs need to be passed in the URL of the website, followed by a question mark, and separated by an ampersand. The displayed URL will call a JSP page and send the value, Corporal Jones, for the customer name parameter. It will send a GET request to server. It is important to note that the space between the value is encoded as a plus sign. The displayed code shows a JSP page that accesses a parameter from an HTTP request. In this code, this statement is using the request.getParameter method to access the value of the customer name parameter. Further, this value can be used to compute the desired result. In this session, you learned that the limitations of servlets can be overcome by using JSPs. A JSP page contains the HTML markups and the Java code scriptlets. The request.getParameter method is used to retrieve the values from an HTML page. Happy learning!